Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of BeingACCA. This is Tushita Gupta, ACCA affiliate, and in this video we are going to be solving the question Darask Company. Darask Company is a global consumer electronics manufacturer. It sells its own brand of smartphones, computers, and personal entertainment devices. It uses target costing, DPAD, feasibility study results. The board of D Company has conducted a feasibility study in order to decide whether or not to launch a new device, the D-pad, in 20X9. This will have a 3-year life cycle over which a total of 80 million units will be sold. The total manufacturing and selling cost of the D-pad is currently estimated at 123 per unit. Total fixed product cost, including investment and overheads, is budgeted to be 3360 million over the whole life cycle. Okay. The initial estimate of the selling price included in the feasibility study for the D-pad was calculated to ensure a profit markup of 60%. D-pad market research analysis. The board decided to commission some market research to determine the price customers would be willing to pay for the D-pad. Sales volumes and sales prices were estimated for the various stages of the D-pad's product life cycle as follows. These are the stages of the life cycle, and these are the sales volume and price given to us. Based on the market analysis, the board has approved the development of the D-pad as long as the total product cost, including manufacturing, investment, and overheads, does not exceed $1,300,000 million. Retail outlets. The board of Darask Company is also considering the opening of some retail outlets which will be located in major cities around the world. The outlets, as well as selling Darask Company's products, will also hold free of charge surgeries where the product users can seek help on how to use their device and have their devices repaired. The board has been discussing whether it is possible to use target costing in relation to the retail outlets. The following statements have been made. Director X says that the target costing cannot be used because it is difficult to estimate target selling prices for services. Director Y, target costing is most useful when it is being developed as a high degree of variability, such as developing new services. Director Z, target costing when developing new services is difficult because services are intangible and measuring a unit of service is not always possible. Okay, with this we have read the scenario and then moving to the questions. The first question asks, which of the following statements about the use of target costing at Darask Company is or are correct? Now, the statement 1 says it relies on just in time processes in order to work. Statement 1 looks incorrect to me because, we often use just in time system with reducing the cost and to, lessen our costs. But then, it is not a mandate that this has to be there for target costing to be successful. So, my first statement is not correct. It can be used alongside life cycle costing and planning. Now, this is correct because these are, more suitable or more beneficial when they are used together. So, B is the right answer. Moving on to the next one, what was the initial selling price of the D-pad from the feasibility study results to the nearest whole dollar? Okay, so, according to our first feasibility study results, we had calculated that the variable manufacturing and selling cost was 123 per unit. So, 123 plus. Now, this is the total cost which is going to be divided for 80 million units. So, I'm just going to do 3360 divided by 80. 3360 divided by 80. Now this will give me my total cost. So 3360 divided by 80 gives me 42, and 42 plus 123 gives me 165. Now it is said to us that initially they had decided that there would be a markup of 60%. So since I have been asked my selling price, I will add 60% of 165 to this, and that would give me $264, which is to the nearest whole dollar. So I have met this requirement as well, and $264 becomes my answer. Moving on, third question asks me, Based on the market research analysis, what is the total cost gap of the DPAD if Darask company wants to achieve a target profit margin of 45%? Okay, so we will be using the market research analysis data over here. This is our market research analysis. These are the sales volume and sales prices. Let me first find out the sales revenue over here. I'm just going to multiply these two. 8 into 425 will give me 3400. 14 into 300 gives me 4200. 56 into 220 gives me 12320, and then 2 into 120 gives me 240, right? So I'm just going to add all these figures up. 3400 plus 4200 plus 13230 plus 240. Calculating this, I get 20160. Okay, and according to this, they want a profit margin of 45%. Now, this is my revenue. So, revenue minus your cost will give you your target profit, and target profit is 45% of your uh, this thing revenue. So, this gives me 45% of 20160 gives me 9072. So this is how I can find out my cost. My cost would become 20160 minus 9072, and if I do that, I will get 11088. So my cost should be 1100088. And right above it is mentioned that DPAD will be, the board will approve as long as the total costs are 13,000. So right now we have estimated our cost to be 13,000, and if we want to achieve this profit of 45%, our cost should be this much. So let me just subtract to find out. This is actually, there's only one zero over here. 088, right? So I'm just going to subtract this to find out my cost gap. This is 13,000 minus 11088, and this gives me 1912, which makes my answer as option B. Moving on to the fourth question, it says the following proposals have been made in order to close the cost gap of the DPAD. Introduce 24-hour working in the factories where the DPAD is made in order to increase production and build inventory. Now, okay, which of these are likely to reduce the cost gap? Since you are introducing 24-hour working, you will have to pay your labor a lot, and this will not work to reduce the cost gap. Incorporate quality assurance inspections into the manufacturing processes to reduce faulty units. Yes, this will help because you will be discarding lesser units, and this will help you reduce your costs. Increase the sales and marketing spend in order to boost the sales volume. No, even if sales volumes are boosting, sales are very high, your cost will still remain the same. You're just going to be selling more, but your cost will still be the same. So this is also not a measure or a proposal that can help you to reduce the cost gap. So my answer is option C. Last question. In relation to the use of target costing for the retail outlets, which of the director's statements is or are correct? Now let's go to the director's statements again. My director X said target costing cannot be used because it is difficult to estimate target selling prices for services. Now, director X is wrong because it is possible to estimate target prices for services. Even if the target cost may be more difficult to establish, it is not that it is not possible. Many organizations do that. So, director X is wrong. Okay, let's read for the other directors. Director Y said target costing is most useful when what is being developed has a high degree of variability, such as developing new services. Now, director Y is also wrong, because a high degree of variability will make it difficult for determining the target which can be achieved by the cost reduction. So, director Y is also wrong. Let's look at what director Z said. Target costing when developing new services is difficult because services are intangible and measuring a unit of service is not always possible. So, this is true. You might remember, or if you got exemptions, we studied about services in BT exam, and it was always mentioned that services are intangible. They are, since they are performed by people, they might be performed differently. One time a service is performed, and the second time it may not be exactly uniform also. So these are intangible, and these are difficult to measure in units. So director Z is correct. Only director Z is correct, which makes my option as D. With this, we have come to an end to this question. Let me know in the comments below which question do you want me to solve next. And thank you for watching.